Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-deism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 8th Adhyaya, Akshara Brahma Yoga, the yoga of imperishable Brahman. And Sri Krishna is one by one, he is addressing the doubts, the questions raised by Arjuna at the start of this chapter. Arjuna's questions, totally 7 questions, which were taken up from the last 2 verses of the 7th chapter. Like, what is Brahma, what is Karma, and what is Adhyatma, what is Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, and Adhiyajna, and what happens when you tell that you have told at the last moment of the yogi, you come and take that yogi with you. What is it that last moment at the time of death, on the deathbed, you told that if someone thinks about me, he comes to me. Now, how does that happen? Tell me, explain to me about all these things, about these 7 things. Now, in the 3rd and 4th shloka that we read, Sri Krishna has addressed 6 of those queries. The 3rd shloka, Sri Krishna told what is Brahma. Brahma is Akshar. Brahma is imperishable, and that is going to be the main theme of this adhyaya, the Akshara Brahma. Second thing Krishna talked about is what is Adhyatma. The very nature of this Brahman, of this Akshara Brahman, when that Brahman, when that one entity, it manifests itself in the physical body. When this Akshara Brahman manifests itself in the individual body, in the Bhuta, when that Jivatma starts dwelling in the individual body as an indweller, when we start thinking about it, that is Adhyatma, that imperishable Brahman getting the form of Jivatman and dwelling inside the body, that is Adhyatma. That Atman is there inside this body. And what is Karma? Whatever offering is made to bring this life form, to bring this Bhuta Bhava, to create this Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Karo, that Visarga, that offering is Karma. And from that point onwards, the Karma starts. And then in the 4th shloka, Sri Krishna told us about what is Adhibhuta. Adhibhuta, Sri Krishna says, Adhibhuta is different. The moment this Akshara Brahman, through Adhyatma, through Karma, is manifested in the being, that is adhibhuta, that is Akshar. Adhibhuta is Akshara. But the Adhidaiva, the governing principle of all the divinity, which is the Lord Himself, that Adhidaiva is me, myself, Sri Krishna says. I am that Adhidaiva. Adhibhutam is Akshara, whichever is composed of the 5 gross elements of the earth, water, fire, air and space. Whatever is composed of these, maybe permutations, combinations, the proportions may be here and there. But whatever is composed of these Panchamahabhutas, that is Akshara, that is perishable, that is Adhibhuta. But I as Adhidaivatam, that is the governing principle of the entire divinity. And what is Adhiyajna? Sri Krishna says Adhiyajna is the supreme deity governing all the sacrifices, the governing principle of all the sacrifices that this body does. That is Adhiyajna. And in the explanation we have seen that the moment we start evolving ourselves from the stage of a tiny infant to the stage of a yogi, we are performing so many sacrifices to kill this self, little self, and merging it with the self. All this effort of sacrificing the lower self in uniting it with the Akshara Brahman, that sacrifice, Sri Krishna says, I am that sacrifice. What else you want? So Sri Krishna has given these 6 answers pertaining to Brahman and the Adhyatma and the Karma and the Adhibhuta and the Adhidaiva and Adhiyajna. Now, remaining part, the 7th portion of what happens at the time of death. That now Sri Krishna is going to tell us in this 5th shloka onwards. So let us take up the 5th shloka, what Sri Krishna says. Anta-kāle ca mām-eva smaran muktvā kalevaram yah prayāti mad-bhāvaṁ yāti nāstyatra sanśhayaḥ. Anta-kāle, the last moment, the life force is about to give up this body and cross over the threshold of life and death, moving towards the area of the hereafter. That anta-kāle ca mām-eva smaran muktvā kalevaram, thinking about me only at the last moment. Mām-eva smaran, thinking about me only. Muktvā is freeing, leaving. Muktvā kalevaram, when one leaves the body, thinking about me only. At the last moment, anta-kāle ca mām-eva smaran muktvā kalevaram, when that person leaves the body, what happens at that time? Yah prayāti mad-bhāvaṁ yāti nāstyatra sanśhayaḥ. He goes forth, he crosses over that threshold of life force, the life and death, and mad-bhāvaṁ prayāti, he thinking about me. Prayāti is goes forth thinking about me. Mad-bhāvaṁ, his all the focus, intent upon me. When he makes this crossover, when he makes this pass from life to death, na asti atra sanśhayaḥ, there is no doubt that he crosses over to me at that time with his entire focus intent upon me. thinking about me. Mameva smaran, thinking about me. When he makes this transition, when the life force, when this Jivatman makes this transition, leaving this body here and comes to me, there is no doubt about that he comes to me only. And whoever at the time of death, leaving the body, goes forth remembering me alone, he attains my being. As simple as that. So this, the seventh doubt that Arjuna had asked about, the anta-kāle katham jñēyosi niyatātmabhihi. That was his question. That at the time of death, how this self-control, they know you. How they know you. And this he had asked in connection with Sri Krishna's telling that prayāna-kāle pi chamāmte vidur yukta chetasaha, with the yukta chetasaha, with the alert mind, these people, these self-conquerors for that matter, the great sacrificers of the lower self. Sri Krishna had said that prayāna-kāle, with that alertness of their mind, they are not in delirium. They don't have a confused state of mind. They clearly come to me. And to that teaching of Sri Krishna, Arjuna had asked, prayāna-kāle katham jñēyosi niyatātmabhihi. How is it that these great souls, how is it that these great souls at the time of death, they know you? And Sri Krishna says that at the time of death, when they do this crossover, thinking about me, their entire focus is on me. Thinking about me, when they make this crossover, they attain to my being. They become one with me. That Jivatman, it merges into the Paramatman. And this happens at the last moment. And whoever at the time of death, leaving the body, goes forth remembering me alone, he attains my being. There is no doubt about this. Nāstyatra sanśhayaḥ. There is absolutely no doubt. The fact is very clear. My being mentioned here comprises Ishvara in the supreme state, the Akshara Brahman that he is talking about, Sri Krishna. So these great souls, the great the Jivatma, which in fact is nothing but manifestation of that great Brahman, the Purusha principle, it merges back into my being. That is what Sri Krishna says. The essence of the sum total of the entire thoughts and feelings that have been taking place in the mind of man during the span of his life stands condensed into the single state of mind at the time of departure from the body. Now, we all lead our lives by the way we have led, the way we have been taught to lead the life, the way we live as such. Now, all those happenings from birth till the last moment of death, when we are at the last juncture, just a few seconds left out to for the Jivatman to give up this body and go to the planes hereafter. All this that has happened in this life, all that has happened in the previous lives, that determine our behavior at the time of our death. It might happen that people who have constantly done austerities throughout their life, some portion of their previous life, they must have got entangled with something, and that thought was uppermost at the time of death. So what happens? All these austerities, all these tapas, all these meditation, all these surrender to the God that has done in this life, maybe at the time of death, the mind may just forget that and think about something. And the future course of action will be determined on that thought which is uppermost at the time of death. And Sri Krishna says here that when these yogis, at the time of death, fully intent upon me, they cross over, they leave the body, they attain, they come to my being itself. There is no doubt about it. To effect the thought of the Lord at the last moment is therefore well nigh impossible. Now this is what in reality happens. Maybe the whole life we are chanting the name of the Lord. We are repeating the name of the Lord. We are doing japa. We are doing tapas. We are doing austerities. But at the last moment, something happens and we start thinking about, oh, I have not done this. Now, is it that all this tapas that we have done, it goes waste? No. Sri Krishna says that doesn't happen. But with this thought of attaining with this some desire at the time of the death, the whole future course is rewritten for that matter, and the process starts once again. Those austerities, those tapas, that meditation, that japa, it has not gone waste. It has added up to the kitty of our good doings. It has certainly lessened the evil that we have committed up till now. But still, it has not given up. That small desire at the time of death hasn't given up the chance to get liberated. If at all, at the time of death, just before losing the consciousness, we have the name of our chosen deity on our lips. That's the end of it. And Sri Krishna says, assuredly says, there is no doubt that such a person will attain me. Preparation for it has to go on all through the life, and not only through this life. That preparation has to go life after life after life. He who is absorbed in the thought of God while departing from the body gets merged in the cosmic consciousness. That is what drives the future course of action. And this is mukti, getting which there is no more return to mundane life. You are out of the net of once for all. We are one with the Paramatman. We are one with the Akshar Brahman. Then we go to our original place, where we belong. That is our place. This is the universal law. There need be no doubt about it. That is what Sri Krishna says. Na asti atra sanśhayaḥ. There is no doubt about it. There is no room for even a little doubt. What I have said is right or wrong. This is how the things happen. So, the last moment before leaving the body determines what is going to be our future fate. So, this is Sri Krishna's teaching as far as the last moment, anta-kāle, at the time of death, determines our future course of action. And he is further going to tell us in the 6th shloka also the same thing. Sri Krishna is going to give more emphasis on this particular time, the last time just before the crossover from the life to the form of death. Then that we will see in our next reading. As of now, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.